Oh man, I was hoping we'd be getting a new Alkaline Trio, freaking eventually. It's been a 5-year gap since My Shame Is True, and that album absolutely wrecked. Man, I was hungry as hell after that one. And then... well, not Crickets, exactly. Quite the opposite of Crickets, actually, with Dan Adriano doing another Emergency Room record, and Matt Skiba hooking up with this little pop-punk band nobody's ever heard of. I don't know, they've done some stuff in like the I don't know, who cares. But I've still been aching for another AiC Trio album for a good while now, and the guys were finally able to get together and hammer one out for us between all their other projects. Though My Shame Is True was a hell of a tough act to follow, so how does this one hold up? What did they do to help mix things up? Well, they did what I think would be probably one of the best ideas they could have thought of at this stage in their career. They pulled an AVGN and took us back to the past. You know, as much as I enjoyed the sound of My Shame Is True, I'm not exactly sure these guys could have kept moving in that direction sonically. As good as that album was, it also felt like kind of a zenith. At least for that more alt-rocky kind of Alkaline Trio sound. I mean, the previous album, This Addiction, in my opinion at least, showed off way more cracks than it really should have, so I'm just saying, if they'd stayed on that more alt-rocky path, they probably would have gotten stale really fast. Thankfully though, Is This Thing Cursed feels more like a throwback of sorts. It's probably one of the most punky and energetic albums we've gotten out of them since Good Morning. It stands in a bit of a stark contrast to their most recent output, especially My Shame Is True. I mean, that album was so melancholy and earnestly emotional. Maybe one of AiC Trio's most from-the-heart albums, you know? I didn't even think they were capable of an album with that much, you know, gravitas and real emotion. This album doesn't feel nearly as heavy as that. Again, it feels more like a return to the fun, bouncy Alkaline Trio of like Good Morning backwards. Stuff like Blackbird, Pale Blue Ribbon, and Throw Me to the Lions are fast, kinetic, and instantly jammable, while other deviations, like the country-ish vibes of Little Help, the slower, more reflective tunes like Stay and Heart Attacks, and the lovely little acoustically driven heartbreaker Crystalline, all add just the right amount of variety and spice to the mix to make for a pretty goddamn solid album that sticks to you very well and makes you want to come back for more. It's a goddamn solid outing from Alkaline Trio. The mood here is definitely a bit more light and fun. I think Skiba's time touring with Blink-182 definitely loosened him up a fair bit. Overall, yeah, I don't really have too many complaints here. It's a solid album with solid hooks, solid melodies, solid rhythms, solid songwriting. I guess, well, if you wanted to be nitpicky, you could say that it is just, like, solid. I mean, this album isn't going to make you want to go out and burn your copies of maybe I'll Catch Fire, Good Morning, or even like The Crimson or anything like that. It's not an amazing Alkaline Trio album, but it's a damn fine record, and it's one I'm eager to keep revisiting throughout the year. It's really nice to see that these guys still have the edge, the creativity, and the power to keep making absolutely stellar punk rock. Here's to more in the future, guys. Is This Thing Cursed gets 4.5 prank calls out of 5.
Super special thanks to my man Sam